back again. Look who's back. Tell a friend. That's right. The real Sam Shady is back in
Sam,
the house.
Please stand up.
Yeah.
We're a whole new pod.
He did not stand up.
We already heard who might be here, but I'm Lucas Melby, one of your consistent hosts.
And I'm Jacob Telejohn, also here usually.
And
I'm Sam. I'm back.
we couldn't go without him. We needed the energy. Johnny Tsunami might have been a bit of a low point. The tidal
Johnny
wave was
Boonami.
maybe... The moon was not in full rise. Low energy, but now we've got high energy Sam, and we've got a high energy DCOM. Sam wanted to show up for this movie thinking it was a different DCOM because I kind of led him astray. But I don't think you regret coming now, do you, Sam?
I only remembered the climax, but...
Not that climax.
Yeah, take it easy, Jacob. But yeah, I'm raring to go, excited. This was a hell of a DCOM, not trying to sell it too much, but
It was good.
I think in the future when we have Sam, it'll probably be a sign that it'll be a good episode, but also a good DCOM.
I'm only coming for the ones that I like.
Yeah, Sam has gone down and created a checklist of future ones he
I'll be
wants to show
damned
up
if I
for.
see the Cheetah Girls.
We will all be damned.
Cheetah Sisters.
But yeah, this is our exciting, this is our 10th anniversary. It's our 10th episode, because that's how anniversaries work, right? You just have 10 of a thing, and then it's an anniversary.
I believe it's the 10th anniversary.
Yeah.
Wow. Did we miss Pewter? Was that 5?
I don't know what that is.
Well, if Pewter's 5. If I get married, I'm divorcing. I can't shell out that Pewter money.
All right, fine. Then I guess I'm not getting married anymore.
All right. So, as we mentioned in passing, the movie we watched today, the DCOM, was Genius. Another 1999 one. It's a very long year. I keep thinking we're out of 1999 ones, but they just keep coming. All right. So, as we always got to start, what were the opening credits like? Very disappointing. They're quickly running out of very inspired. You know, we start out with things like Under Wraps, where they got like stop motion or something going on.
Yeah.
This is just a shot of an ice rink with the title Genius above it.
Yeah, straight into the movie. Really quick.
Yeah. And as Jacob just said, straight in the movie, we're immediately going to meet our main character, Charlie, who is on this rink skating around in a school uniform.
Wearing glasses, so you know he's a nerd.
Yes, the good DCOM signaling nerd characters always have to have glasses.
He's got a nice helmet on, safety first.
It doesn't have a cage, so, I mean, that's youth hockey, you have to wear a cage. And college hockey, which we'll get into later.
Sam is a former hockey player. He is actually wearing his sweatshirt from our high school hockey team.
14 years of hockey, and I was very mediocre.
So... that wasn't meant to be like a dig. Like, Sam is actually sitting here in his Letterman jacket from high school, showing off his class rank.
I'm wearing this hockey sweatshirt because I was so fat as a child that it still fits me.
He's playing Bruce Springsteen's Glory Days. But yes, Charlie skating around. His dad comes in.
No, wait. He's narrating what he's doing.
Oh, yes.
He's trying to be Bill Murray in Caddyshack, and he's not as funny.
So yeah, he's super nerdy, not just because he's wearing a school uniform, but he's doing the weird narration thing. And then his dad comes in, who I guess runs the rink that he's currently skating at. And
is all Zamboni.
Yeah, Charlie, I need you to Zamboni because my back is bad or something.
There's another thing. You at least need to be 16 years of age to operate a Zamboni, and this guy's asking him to break the law.
There's going to be a lot of questions about how old Charlie is to be doing some of the things he's doing.
He's
in this
13.
Movie. Yes, he is 13. So Charlie is like, don't worry, Dad, we don't need the Zamboni. I've got a new invention. So establishing very quick, he is extremely smart, and this invention is some weird metallic box he just drops on the ice. It has some weird effect come out of it. Oh, wow.
1999 effect.
Yeah.
And the whole rink it's all nice and shiny.
It's all shiny and new.
Like, right there, he could be a millionaire, but no, he has to go...
I don't know if the Zamboni business is like that high, but moving on. So Charlie is like, all right, cool, Dad. I'm glad your ice is all pretty now, but I gotta run off to street hockey. Maybe they'll let me play this time. Jacob, do they let him play?
No.
We see him sitting on the bench all sad, but he sees an opportunity. He goes up to what appears to be the head kid to talk to him, see if he can play. And he's like, no, you're a fucking nerd. But then he shows that his nerd degree has something good to come out of it, where he produces a special puck.
A graphite something
It limits the friction, but there's also
concrete.
There's also street hockey pucks that are made for street hockey.
Well, those were invented by Charlie.
More or less.
So yeah, some specially engineered thing. You know, he's a nerd. His character quirk is very quickly established that he likes to talk a lot about things.
So he has the puck, and they're like, yeah, you know, we'll let you play, and then he starts talking way too much, and then they end up like, oh, we'll sub you in. And
yeah,
it's like,
he immediately shoots himself in the foot and ruins.
It's like 8 hours later, and we see it's nighttime, and he's just sitting by himself.
Well,
sulking.
before it cuts, the sad cut, he's on the bench.
Yeah.
He's not by himself at first.
Oh,
and there's a girl there.
Yeah.
He just turns to her, and he was talking to the other kid about like some scientist who had worked on graphite technology or whatever. And is like, hey, do you know about this doctor?
And he asked her like 3 times, and
she just dead-eye stares at him, and then grabs her bag, and then leaves. And then he's in that spot, and that's where he is.
That's 8 hours later.
He's bad with women.
Yeah, presumably for hours, because it's nighttime, and he's just sitting there, and he's all sad. And he goes and walks home.
His puck is gone. We never see
it ever again. He carries all of
his
his things in a hockey bag. I assume, like, his books for school, he carries in a hockey bag, which they would not allow you to do.
It's a very odd combination of, I wouldn't just say, like, being smart and hockey, but, like, being a nerd and being, like, wanting to play a sport of any kind. I just don't, you know, they're breaking
like
new ground
baseball
here.
Where they have that damned, what is it called? Sabermetrics?
Oh,
Moneyball stuff?
Moneyball stuff. Hockey doesn't pertain to the Moneyball stuff.
No. And it's definitely by far one of the most violent or like hard hitting of sports. So for like a nerd to want to be into that just doesn't add up for me.
Football, rugby won.
Rugby's more for college.
Yes, rugby,
sport.
the very popular American high school sport. But Charlie, it's disappointing he didn't get to play street hockey. He's back home. He's moping around his room, futzing with some kind of hockey stick invention.
A hockey stick invention that makes you shoot the puck at like 99 miles an hour.
Yep, as we'll see in the closing of this scene. His dad comes in to try to cheer him up.
Papa Boyle.
And what is he trying to cheer him up with? Acceptance letters.
From Harvard and Princeton and Yale and Northern.
They didn't mention Yale. They mentioned MIT.
Yes.
MIT.
You know, very, typical smart schools, because he's not just smart, he's one of those child geniuses where he's going to college at the age of 13. And this is where I have to say this is one of my least favorite tropes in anything. I just find immediately a smart kid is extremely annoying. You know, the smart guy.
The Smart Guy was a very hilarious show.
Smart House was a great
Melvin
movie.
just doesn't like it because they were also black.
That's not true. Smart Guy, we got Baby Geniuses, we've got my least favorite, Young Sheldon. It's just...
Have you seen Young Sheldon?
I've seen enough of it.
You saw the trailer on a commercial.
Unfortunately, I like Jeopardy a lot. The actor of Young Sheldon has introduced multiple Jeopardy clues when I've been watching.
Oh, I'm sorry that he likes to make the sweet money at his young age.
It's something that happens in media so much, and it's just such a lazy thing. It's like, we're not going to really try to like create this character as like smart. We're just be like, they're in college at the age of 13. Like I was playing a video game where there was some inventor, and it's like, she graduated at 13 and then went on to invent stuff. Let me tell you something about when you're that young and you graduate college. You can't do shit. You're not legally allowed to work anywhere, so it doesn't even matter that you graduate that early. It's just
but you need to live off the media plugs that you get. The Today Show, they give you at least $400 for a buy on there.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I'm just mad because I was smart as a kid, but I wasn't that smart.
He was not that smart.
I was not.
But he did make me feel very inferior. And pointed it out every single time I misspoke.
That's what I'm here for.
And he still does to this day.
It's a mutual relationship.
So,
yes, Melby's one of my good friends, but I also hate him, even though he's in my wedding.
We're getting a lot of stuff. Sam had to figure out something to bring that, we had the Smart House revelation last time, and now he has to have some other kind of personal revelation here. So, all these great schools he's accepted to. What school does he choose?
Northern.
Yes, the made-up school. I mean, real school.
It's Northern Wisconsin, which means it's god-awful.
So yeah, he chooses the specific Wisconsin school because...
Kirkstein.
Yes, Dr. Kirkstein, who's this major physicist.
Yes.
There's no physicist that ever came out of the state of Wisconsin. That place sucks.
Well, not necessarily going to disagree here. But yeah, so he's some big guy that's within like the field of study that Charlie wants to be in. So that's who he picks.
If you're from the state of Wisconsin, I do not apologize. I've had this grudge since I was very little.
We just lost 2 listeners.
But yeah, Dr. Kirkstein, the thing he's working on is a graviton, which I don't know if that's a real science term.
It is now.
But that's what Charlie wants to work on. It's related, as you would guess, to gravity. But Charlie has his own invention that Sam mentioned, which is that special hockey stick, which pairs with a special puck that he then hits, and it flies out of his window through like multiple windows. We hear like a guy's yelling from like down several blocks away.
Is it a special hockey puck? I thought it was just a special stick.
I don't know. It's completely irrelevant.
It seemed like a normal
It might have been the graphite.
It seemed like a
the graphite.
It never comes up again. I thought the hockey puck was like green.
Graphite has a lot of amazing qualities in this movie that it doesn't actually have in real life.
So we get to see the first day of school, or at least Charlie's first day of school, because it's still winter time. But I don't know if that's just them trying to say that it's always cold in Wisconsin, as one of those lame jokes that Hollywood probably has about the northern states.
Well, they also bring up a cheese factory later on, so yes.
Yeah. But, so it could just be the first day of the second semester or something. Whatever the case is.
It's actually July.
Yeah. Charlie's walking around school all bright-eyed, and he goes into the hockey rink because he loves hockey, and he sees the hockey team gathered. And long story short, nothing really important happens with what they're talking about. They're talking about like the upcoming big game or something.
The hockey team does not like him.
No, the dean comes up and is like, "Hey, coach, if you lose this game, I'm going to fire you."
Yeah.
Something that is a running thing that happens in this movie.
Yeah, everybody's job is on the line. Yeah, so the dean comes up, and the team finally sees Charlie, and they see that he's one of these 13-year-old geniuses. So, of course, I mean, if I ever encountered a kid like that in school myself, I would definitely hate that
Something
kid.
Also happens, too, where he's the coach is yelling Kirkstein, because, like...
yeah, the power starts flickering.
Yeah.
Because Dr. Kirkstein, his lab is
Testing.
right below the hockey rink,
It's supposed to be cooled by the hockey rink, which would just be like an AC system.
So they're establishing
Northern's
the hockey,
very cheap.
Establishing the hockey team and the coach do not like Kirkstein or...
Fun fact,
all that
their
stuff.
team is known as the Northern Lights, which was almost what the Minnesota Wild were called when they first debuted in 2000.
I'd say that's at least a fact. Fun, that can be up to the judgment of the listener. All right, so Charlie gets to get down to the lab with Dr. Kirkstein. The dean drops him off and is like, "This place is cold. I'm going to leave." So the lab's cold. It's kind of crappy and run down.
It's crappy because, and Kirkstein even mentions, I know it's not what you expected, Charlie, but it
the
does
funding's
its job.
not flowing like it used to.
So yeah, and then he is, they introduce themselves, and then he's like, "Charlie, this is your workstation," which is not usually how undergraduate schooling works. You don't go to school and then you're just like a lab assistant for somebody.
Well,
but we'll quickly
he
see.
also has a different job.
Yeah, we'll see that this is a lot of unusual stuff for Charlie in his college years. So Charlie is excited after leaving the lab to go meet his roommate because he had talked to him on the phone and he thought he was really cool because he called him dude.
And he also said that what's in the freezer's mine. That's my side of the room.
That's wrong. He said the left side of the room is mine and the sodas in the fridge are mine.
And something else.
You gotta lay ground rules. So he goes and meets them, and it turns out to be the star of the hockey team.
Captain Kirk.
Yeah, the captain and the ace of the team. And we get to see him in mid-action of hanging up a poster of a hot babe working out.
Yeah.
So
it's literally a hot babe sitting on a lifting bench, just sprawled over the...
With
we don't lift a lot.
I haven't lifted since high school. I can't think of the actual thing.
Helping the captain was also a goon, who we don't really see much later in the
All
film.
you know is
he did break a
fattest guy on the team.
Yeah.
He did break
He's
a
a
hockey
meathead.
stick.
Is he a
across his
goalie?
leg.
No, that would just make more sense having the fattest guy as a goalie.
So it was kind of an interesting thing where these are pretty much the oldest main characters for the most part of any decom, or like where there's college kids there.
Early 20s.
So this is like the most sexual thing that has happened in a decom of like hanging up a sexy poster.
By all means, he should be like a freshman because he's like, I'm taking physics and chemistry, which is something a freshman would do.
Well,
but he's also the star of the hockey team, which makes no sense.
Well, the athletes, they're there for their scholarship. They're all doing like business or communication majors,
As far as
doing
I-
whatever they can to skate
as far as I know, at the U,
pun intended.
Minnesota University, all the the athletes take sign language as a elective.
Yeah.
And they just don't do anything.
There is well-established ways that schools kind of work around.
They don't take physics and chemistry.
Well, sure.
Also, 2 sciences in 1 year is wasting your time.
More than I would want to do in a single semester. So he's disappointed that he sees that Charlie's his roommate. This guy is named Mike.
He's disappointed because he also saw that he was the helper of the scientist that's under the rink.
Yes.
They're
All these
all
things.
mad that they don't get their rink.
Yep, this is all set up, and their dorm area is gigantic. It's both... They have like a giant gathering area. It's kind of like fucking Hogwarts or something, where they have a gathering area, and then they have their side rooms, and Mike's area is labeled the lair. And no trespassing sign on the door and everything, and Charlie tries to go in.
Beware of Dog, which makes no sense to me.
The big man, that was his name, Dog.
Dog the bounty hunter.
Well, somebody's named Odie in the movie.
Yes, he is.
So,
he's gotta pay that water bill.
So Charlie tries to set up in the lair, but we'll see that doesn't work out well for him. So then we get to see that Charlie also teaches.
Yes.
Which makes no sense.
Yes, he got accepted into college early, but he only has a high school education. He is a freshman, but he is so smart that he teaches the class.
He mentions that it's part of his scholarship that he has to teach.
That is wild. I didn't even get assigned a work-study job in college. I had an interview for it, and I just sat at a desk and did my homework most of the time. But
I drank by myself most of the time.
You didn't get paid to do that.
North Dakota State University.
So in this class, wouldn't it happen that Mike is in there and he throws a gigantic... You couldn't even call it a spitball because you didn't spit it.
It's like a whole chicken. He throws a whole chicken at the chalkboard.
And it just slams and stays on the chalkboard. And Charlie turns around to see Mike, and Mike's like, I'm going to be disrupting this class all year long.
Which we hear later on.
Mike is influential for Charlie in more ways than one.
He is also very dumb, as we find out later on.
Yeah. Then we get to see back in the room, the dorm room, all of his stuff has been moved from the lair, and he has his own separate area, which is also huge, and it's like, he has this huge room to himself, like, what is he complaining about?
They put up a sign that says the diaper room or something like that.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
He tears it down.
So, the next day, he's talking to actually, there was another funny thing where, this was weird for it to be in a decom, but there's like a big college party happening outside with people with blue Solo cups, not red Solo cups, but presumably consuming some kind of alcohol. And he's just looking through the window.
There's also a buffet for some reason.
And it's the winter outside, but, whatever.
And then we find out later on in the next scene that it went from outside to the kitchen area of the dorm to the common rooms. And then he kept them up all night.
Yeah, it was quite a rager. And he was just, staring out of the window forlornly, being like, I wish I had friends. And why doesn't he have friends? Well, he learned that he's talking to Dr. Kirkstein. I'll just call him Dr. K most of the time.
Dr. Octavius.
That he's always had trouble making friends. And Dr. K can relate because they're nerds and they're not allowed to have friends.
True.
And at the rink, Charlie is just, heading down to the lab. He hears a girl skating, which is a weird thing to say, but we also hear music.
Because the girl's also narrating itself.
Yes, she's talking to herself, but the music is not diegetic.
He hears her, not the music.
It's in his, head or something.
Is it playing over the PA system?
Her head or his head? We don't know.
We don't know, but she's skating around and she's kind of pretending as if she was, a commentator and be like, oh, the triple axel landed perfectly, don't you think, Bob? And then I wanted her to pretend to be Jason Bateman's character from Dodgeball.
Yeah.
Cotton! That's all I got.
Wow.
Deep cut, right?
Yes. It's an amazing.
It's very good. ESPN The Ocho. And then she happens to see Charlie. The music cuts away. It was kind of funky music. I enjoyed the music.
I did as well.
The music cuts away and she just sees Charlie just creepily staring at her.
Yes.
And she comes up and says, hey, who are you?
She was very cheery. She's always very cheery.
That seems to be a very good thing to say to a complete stranger.
Somebody just awkwardly staring at you at the rink. Hey, who are you?
Wide eyes, also a characteristic. Who is she? We know this lady. We know this girl.
She's probably, of any child actor in a decom, she's the one who's gone on to the most success.
And Raven Simone has gone on to The View.
But up to this point.
Okay, fine.
We've only watched 10 of these movies. But yes, I don't know her exact name. Her character
She's in
name is
Shameless.
Claire,
It's
but
something with an R is her last name. I don't remember.
she's a real, I shouldn't say she's a real actress, but she went on to do things outside of her young years.
She's in Shameless.
She's in Shameless, so that's at least like
I've
1,000 seasons.
I've only seen a couple
there.
Her name is
episodes.
Emmy Rossum.
She was in the movie Cold Pursuit, which I saw by myself when I had a rain day at my landscaping job.
Well, there you go. So she's, very excited to just see a person, I guess. And he's about to say, my name's Charlie, but he comes up with a great... What does he say?
Chaz.
Ooh,
Yes, his name is Chaz. And she reacts like that. She's like, oh, okay, Chaz.
She is taken aback by Chaz Anthony.
Your
Chaz
parents must
Anthony.
really hate you to name you Chaz. But
She does
she
not say that.
asks him then, oh, where do you go to school? And you can quickly see he's
Where
trying
do
to...
you go to school?
He's trying to adopt both. He's trying to be thinking on his feet, but he's trying to adopt a cool persona.
I want you to know that his eyebrow game is on point throughout this movie.
Because he licks them.
He's a regular Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Dwayne
So
The Rock.
she is weirded out by his lack of answer, but she says Franklin, and he says, well, there's your answer.
Like a real douchebag.
And he will go on to be very douchey. So she's like, oh, well, that's cool. I guess I'll see you around. And then cut to him quickly enrolling himself into the school as...
Real stereotypical 1999 fashion on the web.
Yeah.
Where it says file sent, which really never happened
That's
in
how you get your kid
1999.
into a school. And his full name, his Christian name, then is Chaz Anthony.
You know, like a cool guy.
Which is up there with Homer Simpson's Max Power. That is, Chaz Anthony is just a very cool name.
Max Power is much better than Chaz Anthony.
To fit the part, he dons on a pair of sunglasses, because of course Chaz Anthony wears sunglasses.
And he raises his class schedule to the sky, saying, how do people see out of this?
Yes, I don't know. I don't wear sunglasses. I got real glasses, so I can't wear them on top of them. But he also, very key to his outfit, a giant, oversized leather jacket.
I believe it's a duster.
It looks like a duster, but it's just like he wore an adult leather jacket.
No regular glasses.
He goes into class, and what happens, Melby?
He gets his very oversized jacket stuck in the door.
And
And
the
he
teacher's
starts-
like, what are you doing?
He
You
starts
can sit
mouthing off.
down.
Well, he comes in right as it gets to the role where she's like, so-and-so here, Chaz Anthony, and you might as well, like in Smart House, you just want to hear a guitar squeal.
There's definitely a guitar squeal when he answers with his leather jacket. There's guitar squeals abound in this movie.
Cues the door opening.
So yeah, and then he gets stuck, and she's like, okay, mister, you can take your seat over there. And
He just
despite
starts tugging on the door.
despite how smart he is, he will not get himself unstuck from the door.
Unless that was part of his cool look. He just wanted to look
Well, he's
cool.
able to play it pretty coolly and turn this into a win.
Yes,
Yeah.
she says, you
He
can go sit by the principal's office or sit down. Then he opens the door,
Pretends
thus
to leave.
unleashing his sleeve from the door.
But he takes
and then he
kind of-
goes, JK, and
Yeah.
sits
Just-
down.
He kind of adds like an extra step that he's going to leave, and then he, kind of just like, finger guns. Just kidding. And he goes and sits down.
And his pal Odie's like, dude, you very cool.
Yeah, so we meet. I only learned his name Odie very late into the movie because, well, we looked up some IMDb trivia for the movie, but also Chaz eventually calls him Odie at one point. But he's very 90s looking. He's wearing like one of those radical, cool, multicolored fisherman hats, which
Yes.
I couldn't wear a hat in school. I don't know what's happening here in Wisconsin. So the teacher trying to make it clear what's going on to Chaz and says, I'm going to be your teacher all year. And then Chaz, taking a note from Mike's book, says, well, I'm going to be giving you trouble all year. And all the kids are
Bing,
like,
bing, bing,
oh,
bing.
oh, Chaz
They love
Anthony!
Chaz Anthony.
I want to be his friend. So immediately, he's like hours into this first day of school. He is already the coolest kid
Yes.
in school. But he has an alarm on his watch that goes off. And he's like, oh no, I gotta go check my experiment. And his friends, or his newly made friends, are like, what do you mean experiment?
Experiment to see how long I can be in school without actually being in school.
Yeah, they're like, experiment, is that a nerd thing? And he's like, no, I'm cutting class. And they're like, wow, Chaz Anthony!
They love Chaz.
So he leaves, and I thought it was to go teach his class, but I think he goes back to Dr. K, who I like this note of the movie that Dr. K immediately already knows that he's pretending to be Chaz Anthony.
Because, he sees him on the computer.
Like, he left it up like a total idiot.
Yes.
So he's obviously still hiding from his classmates that he is not who he says he is, but he doesn't need to completely hide from everybody, so...
He also has a black friend that I just looked up, has 4 acting credits.
Well, what's his name in this movie?
His name is, in this movie, if phone
this is
great
it's
Dion.
Dion? Okay, I don't think that's ever said in the movie.
I believe the fat guy's name, Bear Bervonsky.
I think they do say Bear at one point. That makes sense. So, Dr. K is like, what are you doing with this Chaz thing? And he's like, dude, it's cool. Like, I'm just trying to, like, have friends or whatever.
And then the scientist is like, I never had friends because I'm smart too. You should do
it's
this.
It's the burden you have to bear.
Whenever you're not in this lab, do whatever you want. You're in college. Blah, 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 blah.
Intelligence comes with not having any friends. So back in his dorm, Charlie's practicing some cool pickup lines for Claire.
He puts his hat on sideways and
mirror,
goes, yo, yo, yo. You know, like you did in the 90s.
We're not even joking. That is literally what happens. But then he also hears some noise from the joining common room where he sees Mike and Bear with some girls. And Mike's doing the classic cool guy thing. Like, it's so stereotypical, but he's like showing like a scar. He's like, I got this in a street fight.
And then Bear shows his belly.
Yeah, he got an appendix.
I got an appendix scar. And then the guy takes him aside and is like, it's all about the story, dog.
Yes, girls like bad boys, which is what Charlie and Chaz, they're the same person.
Do you think that there is a guitar squeal? You better believe there's a guitar squeal for that.
Yeah, he takes quite note of it. So at school, Chaz purposely comes to class late with, I guess, only like 5 minutes left in the class. So quite late. And he skates into class. Literally on rollerblades.
Yeah,
this is not
the teacher says lose the blades. Does he lose the blades? No.
This was a different teacher than before. This was like a chemistry teacher.
Yeah, just general science.
He's also wearing glasses, which knows he's a nerd.
And he takes offense to the word geek.
He does.
And yeah, he's just being a total absolute asshole in this class. He's like, wow, I'm sorry, I thought your Skeleton Man lecture was going to be really cool.
But yeah, and he says it really douchey. I'm like, wow.
If you didn't already hate this kid, he doesn't make it very hard.
Charlie's cool though, right? We like Charlie.
Chaz. Charlie, he wears a jacket.
If I had to choose between Charlie Boyle and Chaz Anthony,
safe.
I'll choose Charlie, I guess. But in this situation, somehow, some way, Chaz and Charlie have rigged together the skeleton in this room to a remote control that makes it move.
It's pretty good.
It's CGI. 1999, so you know that control is like massive. I mean, the teacher could be able to spot it.
But yeah, he's pulling out a giant antenna from the control.
If you had like a big like an RCXD car, it was one of those kind of handheld.
Ridiculous.
That was big.
So at first, it's kind of just very like basic like animatronics are attached to like fishing line where he's doing stuff behind the teacher, putting like bunny ears behind his head. But then we get the bad CGI where
I liked it.
The skeleton is
the skeleton twerks.
He's dancing
like 20 years before twerking was the thing.
It's basically like whatever you would want, like the spooky, scary skeleton song to go with like bad CGI skeletons. That's what's happening here, and the kids are just going crazy,
around.
And the teacher doesn't notice it at all.
He's oblivious.
But then he turns back and sees,
and it like does a little twitch, and then it shakes its butt again. And then he starts walking around the room, and the skeleton continues to dance until he comes across.
Picture Nicki Minaj Anaconda video when you're picturing this skeleton.
It's very hard
dancing.
to picture anything about like skeletal structure of somebody with a lot of meat.
Now we know how Melby feels about Nicki Minaj.
I just am familiar with the
video.
Melby is very familiar with the video of Nicki Minaj.
Moving on. The teacher discovers who is.
So yeah, he gets the remote control from Chaz and is like, well, you gotta be pretty smart to do this, right? When did you go to the dark side, turning away from intelligence to being a douche?
And you hear him going, good, good.
Do it. Do it!
Deal into your fear.
And Chaz is like, no, I just got some geek in the science club to do it.
It's always a geek, and then the professor, the teacher just looks so...
His love interest is like, who did you make do that? I think geekiness is cool.
Yeah, because she's in the honor class, because some of the kids, like Odie, is like, you can't get with Claire, you're trying too hard, because she's in the honor club. And he's like, fucking, she can't resist the bad boys, but she seemingly can, because she's not very impressed with him just being like, yeah, I got some geek to do it, because she's like, it sounds like your future, you're going to be saying a lot of, do you want fries with that? Which is probably the most savage line of anybody, including Chaz Anthony in this movie.
That was very good.
Let's see. At class, yes. Oh, so this is the college course. You gotta differentiate because he's going to high school and college. Mostly just high school, though. So at the college course, Mike gets called up to do some answer on the board. And he draws, I guess, it didn't really look like a picture of Charlie, but it's supposed to be Charlie. It's some cartoony looking thing.
Charlie's really hurt.
But it's also the funniest thing that this class has seemingly ever seen. Yes, they are.
Jesus.
Yeah, we're gonna spike the levels there.
Calm down.
But yeah, they're screaming with laughter. They're like hitting each other. Like one guy's laughing so hard and he's like hitting the other guy in the back. Like, do you fucking see this? It is out of this world.
He's definitely gonna need some ice because they're slapping the knees so hard.
Yes, it is insane.
Do you need a needle and thread? Because your sides have probably been split because this doodle is so fun.
And then Charlie, he gets very mad and throws like a cringy fit that you could think of when a nerd were just...
I used to look up to you.
A 13-year-old. That seems pretty on point.
But it was the thing where he was using a lot of big words to like try to kind of insult Mike. As like you see in like movies of like some like, oh, you Neanderthal, I used to think you were cool, but you're just an idiot. And then he storms out. So
you have to believe also that he's being kept up from all the sex that this Captain Fox team is having.
That's probably fair. So yeah.
And they share a bedroom, so it's just very awkward.
And he's also the teacher of this class, and he just walked out on that. I'd be like fucking psyched if I was in that college.
Exactly,
course.
You get out of class early.
But
yeah, I just bully my teacher all the time, and then I get out of class.
At first, he did seem kind of affected by what Charlie just said, but to keep up his appearance, he kept like mocking Charlie as he ran out. So he did look to be a little affected by what
Charlie storms
said.
out and goes to call his dad to try to feel better about himself.
Yes.
And his dad's like, oh, everything's good, right? Yeah, good. Oh, you're so smart. And then somehow in this conversation, Charlie thinks of tutoring. And he's like, that's how I can get in with Claire.
The dad says tutoring. Maybe you just need to tutor him or something.
Tutor the kids.
And he's like, Dad, you're a genius.
So that is what he thinks of how he can get in with Claire and still maintain his cool loser attitude, is that he can just pretend to be dumb and get her intelligence to rub off on her, but he also already has the intelligence of himself. But it's not that easy, because Claire does require some convincing, but eventually it happens, and we get a fun little...
She slaps a piece of bologna on a chair, so Chaz can't sit down. Or some kind of meat.
I missed that part. But it made quite the impact on Jacob.
I'm pretty sure it was just red, and it made an obscene squish sound.
It was icky.
So we get a fun romantic studying montage where, they're just getting closer and closer. But Chaz is being kind of weird. There's one point where he's like smelling her hair. And...
Yeah, he's really... Well, you got to remember, he's only going to this school because of her. She is the reason that he is attending this school.
And while you're picturing this, picture a shittier version of I don't care who you are.
Yeah,
as long as you love
some
me.
Bottom barrel. We looked it up as Youngstown, some bottom barrel boys band from the late 90s.
It sounded okay.
It's not as good as the Backstreet Boys.
Yes, it wasn't the Backstreet Boys.
Backstreet's back, all right.
But speaking of the Backstreet Boys,
I saw them in concert.
That's not what I was looking for. But at Claire's house, they're finishing up a study session, I guess, and Chaz gives her a gift to thank her for all the tutoring. And what is it? It's the new Backstreet CD.
Yes.
Oh my god!
Is it the Backstreet Boys, or is it another boy band that sounds exactly like the Backstreet Boys?
Oh no, it's not Backstreet Boys.
I think
it's not Millennium. That's
I'd like to think Claire has very discerning taste, so she'd only want the original product. But then Claire's dad comes home, and it turns out he's the hockey coach, so he would know who Charlie Boyle is because he fucking hates him, like all of the college kids.
Charlie Boyle took a hockey mask, the old school goalie mask that was just wood, but it was painted gold.
Yeah, it was.
And it covers his face and then says, "All right, bye," and then leaves.
It was some kind of award for the hockey coach dad, and he covers it out and then drops it, gets out, and I think Claire probably like makes some kind of like Jim Halpert type face where she's like, I don't know what that was all about. Back at the lab, Charlie continues to be cool, and also unlocks the graviton by playing dance music for Dr. K.
Yeah.
Because
house music.
Yeah, specifically house music, I guess. I'd have to ask my brother about different music genres because he's very into that kind of thing, but something about the sound wave of the music unlocked the potential of the graviton in this particle collider.
Particle accelerator.
Yes, accelerator. To be technical for this made-up technology
I feel like I've heard these names before.
I mean, they're real things, but...
Particle accelerator. Is that like a Back to the Future reference, too?
Possibly. They're sciencey sound.
Sweden has the Hadron Collider or something like that.
They're sciencey things like we get in other decoms related to like technology. Except in Can of Worms, I felt like the computer talk in that was actually kind of accurate. But then in science class, back at high school now, Charlie finds out that his class is actually going to take a field trip to meet him.
Yeah.
Because the teacher wants Chaz to
meet Charlie.
Inspiration from somebody his own age who also is really smart and wants to use his intellect for good.
Yes. This is where I got really mad.
This is where I got very happy.
They're like, oh, you can put this chemical on, but it's going to turn your skin 6 shades to purple. How do you get off this chemical? Soap and water. So it's just dye.
Alright, so dialing it back to what all that means real quick. So, he's all in a worry. He's like, oh no, they're gonna find out. So he races to the school. Yes. How? We don't know. He's going in between all these places.
He doesn't take the bus. He doesn't take the bus with the rest of the kids. I don't know how they let him do that.
Or how they didn't get there before him. But yeah, he comes across some chemical with Dr. K that will turn his skin purple. And he also fakes being in a wheelchair that there was some injury to really try to hide his face.
And he talks like this.
Yeah, he talks with a very extreme smoker voice. So Dr. K introduces him. He comes out and is like, I'm too fucking hurt. I'm sorry, I can't see you.
He was only on the stage for literally like 10 words and then he wheeled off.
Yeah, so he goes off and then the doctor, he waves him over.
Doctor.
He vamps for a while.
Well, yeah, but he waves the doctor over to be like, how do I get this shit off? And that's where he says the soap and water. So he runs to the bathroom. As he's washing it off, I think we get Sam's favorite line of the movie by his friend Odie.
I gotta go pay the water bill.
Yes. One of the best euphemisms for needing to go to the bathroom I think I've ever heard.
I like it.
So he comes across Chaz, or Charlie, or both, in the bathroom
he still has
washing
a little purple on his face, too.
Odie's too dumb to notice that. He's like huffing paint or something. So he brings him back to the class, and he got his leather jacket somewhere to rejoin the class.
And the teacher makes a remark, I didn't think you'd ever show up, not realizing how did he even get there in the first place. Yes.
Dr. K is still on stage, sweating a ton, trying to deal with this field trip that was thrust upon him.
He's vamping.
And then the teacher is like, sir, since Charlie isn't really available, should I reschedule this to come back?
I'll call the dean. I'll make it happen.
And then the doctor's like, oh, fuck. And Charlie's like, oh, fuck. So he runs back to go get into the purple makeup. And the makeup is also just completely terrible. It doesn't even, like, cover his skin all the way. Gets back in the wheelchair. And then he tells the doctor to fake an accident. So he just shoves him across the stage. He crashes. And then it's like, well...
I feel like he would have been hurt. Like, he flies out of the wheelchair. Like, flies.
And that's to take it for the teacher to be like, well, I guess we can never see Charlie because now he's dead.
He's in a body cast.
No, the girl's like, oh, who's going to help him? And then she goes up and up and like, I don't need no help.
Please go away from me. So we see, I think Jenkins pointed this out, that she doesn't really give a shit about Chaz, but she cares about Charlie knowing basically nothing about him.
That means her heart is good. It's pure.
She's pure.
I guess we said Charlie is the better one of the two. Yes. The two sides of the same coin.
I don't know. Chaz has that leather jacket, though. And goes, yo, yo, yo.
I don't view that as a plus. Back at the dorm, Mike apologizes to Charlie and for just being a complete douche. He being the Chaz of his class. And then asks him for help with tutoring because he's at risk of losing his athletic scholarship. And Charlie agrees, but on the condition that he's going to have some help with Mike with the ladies. Yeah. Specifically Claire. He's not looking to get with the
older guy needs
girls.
Tutoring. The other guy's like, hey, this is how you score with women, even though you're 13 and shouldn't be having sex.
But in a way, he was already operating on some of his advice of being like a bad boy, and it wasn't working. But then his new advice is, just don't think. Just don't think.
Forget everything you ever knew.
Which leads to a comical scene.
Claire invites him to the hockey game, the college hockey game coming up.
He can't.
Yes, because
he needs to take care of his sister.
Well, because all those people will know who he is, so he makes up an excuse.
His sister, Mary Catherine.
I have to take care of my sister. She goes, you told me you're our only child. It's Sister Mary Catherine. She's a nun and an invalid.
Very good save. Very good stuff in this movie.
Chaz is so smooth.
And everybody's just kind of stunned, and then they kind of just move on with the conversation.
But they do bring up Mary Catherine later on. And
then Claire has some, cute little girl thing where she's like, isn't the snow so beautiful? I love it. And then Chaz goes, it's better here than in Chicago where it's black.
No.
Black like the mean streets.
Well, he does like an Al Pacino like that.
No, she goes, is it bad? And he goes, you're talking to me?
Yeah, she's like, you're not so
talking to me? And the whole impression is him just squinting his eyes.
He's pretty good.
That's key to a De Niro impression.
He's pretty good.
So he is tough. That's what he's trying to show. And then Claire, they're at an ice rink at this point, and
there were kids playing behind them.
Yes, important that the kids were established to be playing behind them, as we'll see shortly.
It's ridiculous.
So Claire has a bit of a moment where she's skating around. She's talking about, I learned skating from my dad.
No, this is how I learned to skate from my dad, and then she pushes him down to the ground.
She checks him so hard.
And then this is how I learned to skate from my mother.
It wasn't a cross check, if you care.
And it was a fairly heartfelt speech, but fairly dramatic. You could see, I felt that she had greater ambitions than just being in Disney Channel movies. She's
like, my mother was skating, and then the heavens opened up, and it started to snow, and she knew then and there that there was more to life than skating.
She was looking to...
Sam was opening the door to go to the bathroom.
Keep going.
Very subtle. Hardly can notice. She was looking... Because she set up in the speech that at this time she was mostly looking to skate for hockey, but seeing her mom...
I thought you were going to say looking to the skies for the answer.
But she was so inspired by her mom being such a good, beautiful skater that then she decided to pursue ice skating as opposed to hockey skating, I guess.
Yes.
And then Chaz is like, you're the most beautiful person I've ever seen. And they go in for a kiss.
Cue the little kids playing in the background.
And then they get hit by a snowball by the kids.
And they giggle and run away.
Sam's not here to bring this up. He's like, why? When we were watching the movie, he's like, why are those girls behind him? And it was, as I said, they were Chekhov's little girls. They were established, and they had to pay off. And they paid off by throwing a snowball at them. Yes. So very, very detailed.
Good aim, too. They were 20, 30 feet away.
Yeah, and then they're just like, ha, ha, ha. And at this point... Since Sam wouldn't really be able to add anything into this, but I think of different romances that have happened in DComs, I think this is probably...
the farthest we've gotten with one. Really, the only one,
Well, Xenon, she kissed the kid in that, but it's just, I feel like this one, it's not necessarily natural because he's being extremely creepy and setting up the situations with Claire, but I think it just progresses in a good way, and it feels fairly believable. So, 1 point in the favor of Genius, I would say. And then we get to the day, it's the day of the big game between the Northern Lights of Charlie's college, and I don't know what the other team is.
Sam might remember, he's coming.
They had some name, and they're just known for being...
What was the name of the other hockey team?
Something with an R.
They were known, I think they were Pirates or something.
It was a weird word.
But they were known for being extremely dirty players.
They didn't take showers, they didn't brush their teeth. All they really did was eat holes and sleep.
So before the game, Charlie, he decides he can't go because there's too many people that will recognize him, including Claire, and he doesn't want to get found out. So he's just hanging down in the lab. And Mike stops by to thank him because I guess in an unseen time, he's helped him pass his classes and his scholarship is all good and he can play in the game.
Oh, he brought his report card.
Yes. And also a jersey with the hockey team's jersey with Boyle on the back, and Charlie's real last name.
A Captain C, so you know what's important.
Oh, I didn't see that. No pun intended. So Charlie, is, yeah, well, thanks for your help too, Mike. And then he tells him, I think I know something that could help you guys win against this dirty playing team.
Which is completely illegal when it comes to collegiate play of hockey, but whatever.
So yeah, we see in the team meeting what this plan was, and it is to take Mike's jersey, since he's the star player, that they must know his number, but not what he looks like, I guess.
No, because they can't look at pictures of the hockey team, because that's just crazy.
To then give it to a different player, who is actually isn't even on their team. It was like the team manager.
He's the equipment manager.
Give him the jersey, and then he'll get beat up and checked and messed up by the other team.
Broken in half.
But Mike will be fine to be able to score.
Because he is Garcia.
Which is definitely illegal,
he plays
probably.
the Garcia, which means that another player, either by the name of Garcia, or they had a special jersey made for a person named Garcia, would be sitting out, so who wouldn't have a jersey, or he'd had a custom-made jersey for someone named Garcia, and then report it in the player roster, which you need to do before every collegiate game.
It is definitely not kosher. You can have a dog play basketball. You cannot switch jerseys, though.
But there's nothing in the rule book that says a dog can't play basketball.
I'll allow it. So then we see Chaz or Charlie, whatever you want to say. He decides he is going to go try to see the game.
He's downstairs and he's getting very anxious. He's like, 5 minutes. 5 minutes can't hurt.
All you need is 5 minutes.
But he leaves the particle accelerator.
As soon as he leaves the particle accelerator, it starts to react already. It's not getting too not so, but it's...
as soon as he leaves the door, that thing is a jumping and a lighting up.
So he throws his jersey on to get in with the crowd. He meets up with his friends.
Well, he sneaks out, and then Odie's like, "Oh no, Chaz!
Yeah, he's creeping out of the the stairs cellar. He's kind of just peeking over, and Odie walks by, and Odie's going up, and then he looks back and happens to see Charlie, but without his glasses, so he's Chaz.
Exactly. You have to assume that Odie just came back from paying
well,
the water.
He took off his glasses. He took off his glasses because they had steamed up because it got really cold. So that's why he had the glasses.
Yeah, I missed all this as I was furiously taking notes. That's very
Odie was probably the water bill was probably past due when Odie went there.
That's a good point. He wears glasses most of the time. So he's talked about not being able to see with sunglasses, but he shouldn't be able to see anything.
No, the glasses are just a nerd. It just comes.
He wears them because
they're just cosmetic glasses to make him seem smarter. That's why he got accepted to Harvard and MIT.
After he's met up with all his friends, they're very.
Sam is falling out of a chair.
I caught myself.
Oh my God,
Sam, 4 on the floor, please. But they obviously want to know what happened to Sister Mary Catherine.
Yes, they do.
And he responds that she stood up, and it was a miracle.
It was a miracle. She got cantered in or something.
No, she was going to be canonized.
Canonizing.
So just move the chair forward. All right.
She was going to be canonized.
So, good call back there. It was pretty funny. And at this point, Claire, who is down by the players and her coach father, because that's a thing that can happen too.
She is in the players box, which makes no GD sense, because anyone under the age of 18 has to wear a helmet with a cage inside the players box if they're going to be there, and she doesn't do it. Even collegiate players that are injured and wearing a suit have to wear helmets because they can get injured in your face.
I think that was just a thing in the 90s. Maybe that's like a newer thing.
It was.
They wouldn't have the coach's daughter down there.
Well, no, I feel like back in the 90s, they like that was like an actual thing.
It was 1999.
I feel like
the girl that got hit in the face with a slap shot at an NHL team that would cause the nets to be put up.
Disney's always
happened
about
in 1989.
Safety. They've always been about safety. We talk about.
I'm with
Disney
Sam. I think it's just an oversight of people writing about something that they didn't really. They might know hockey or at least somewhat about hockey, but they don't know the things that you should pay attention to when constructing a scene at a hockey rink. But that's not really what's important. The thing is, she's there and she sees Chaz and she's trying to point him out to her dad.
Papa.
And we get a comical scene of, oh, she can't see me. So he grabs some paper from a guy next to him, puts it over his face. The paper just says, "The big game" on it. And then the guy who I don't think was really reading it, but he's like, "Give me back my paper. I need to read this instead of watching the big game right now."
Cost him at least $5.
Yeah.
Because he bought it at the stadium.
So the coach keeps looking at the wrong times, and then Charlie's like on the ground and he's crawling away, and then Claire...
He was just right there.
Claire's just like, oh well. She'll get a chance later on.
And she does.
Mike ends up scoring a point because there is a hockey game going on at this point.
First off, it's a goal in hockey.
Garcia scores a goal.
I think you can
because the guy wearing his jersey gets the old what do they call it?
Something like torture rack or
it was not
rack
torture
attack,
rack.
ram rack or
Pack.
something.
Jesus,
Brat Pack. You know
he's just
the deal.
naming a bunch of wrestling moves, ladies and gentlemen.
That's all I have.
German suplexed.
But Charlie is trying to sleep, or he's
trying to sleep with Claire.
He's trying to sleep. I meant to say slip. He's trying to slip away to get back down to the lab, leave his friends behind.
But
and
the dean comes in a
catches
turtleneck. Ooh, he finds himself fancier than a lot of people.
Yep, so the dean's like, oh, the big game. Come on, Charlie. And he brings him down to the player bench. Again, everybody...
Which makes no sense. Why would the dean be allowed on the player bench?
It's this open season. Anybody can walk down to the bench. And then Claire sees him again. Oh, Dad, look, it's Chaz. That's not Chaz. That's Charlie Boyle.
No, it's Chaz.
No, it's Chaz. No, she said
and then she's looking at him and it zooms in and it goes, bam, 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 dun, dun, dun.
It's Chaz Anthony. And then, yeah, I guess she puts 2 and 2 together very quickly to have all this, like, add up that he was lying. But this is kind of covered up quickly by the fact that the particle accelerator goes haywire and causes basically
And it is the shittiest 90s graphics. First off, if the ice cracks and there's red light coming from the ice cracks, which means that the heat caused the actual cement under the ice to crack. But then they go, no, it's postponed until we can fix the ice. Are you telling me that they poured new cement underneath the ice? It makes no sense.
Yes, we can allow some suspension of disbelief while we're watching it. The interpersonal issues, that's what's at the heart of this movie. And with that, Claire is mad, and I was like, should she really be that mad about him lying about who he is? Probably, but she seemed extremely mad, and it does make sense that she's mostly mad that he was kind of like, to her, she thought he was on some kind of weird power trip where he's this super level genius 13-year-old and he's like, oh, I'm gonna go to this school and pretend like I'm dumb and act like this girl can teach me when I should know everything anyways. That's how she perceived it, and I felt like that was fairly reasonable.
Fairly fair.
So she responds and saying, I don't want to see you again ever.
But this girl also grows up to being shameless, so let's not throw too much on her acting performance.
I mean, I think Shameless is a fairly well-regarded show.
It is. I won't reveal what I revealed to these guys during the movie, but
I know what you're thinking. It was not his penis.
It was not.
Not this time.
It was revealed that she was also played naked in said Shameless.
Well, he did just reveal it.
Did
And also, still not his penis this time.
Not
Exactly.
his penis.
Not this time. The other times.
It was his penis.
Okay. To make good on Claire being mad at Charlie, we get a few shots of him trying to call her and her just immediately hanging up, pretty much.
Oh, yeah. He goes, Claire, Claire, Claire! And then hangs up. But it does reveal to the one time I actually laughed at the movie, where she picks up the phone and immediately hangs it up, and you hear, Claire!
Yeah.
This has been happening for a few days.
It was good comedic timing. So, Charlie gets fed up enough where he goes to the school. So he doesn't go there anymore. He's not keeping up the front. Obviously, Chaz Anthony, not a real person. But he is outside with some kind of ridiculous get-up that's a satellite dish hooked up to a backpack or something that allows him to hack in to the school's intercom system where he has a microphone where he's talking, and I was like, hey, this is for Claire. I just want to say really...
He says to his friends.
Yeah.
Not
This
Charlie.
is Chaz Anthony.
No, he says, this is Charlie, a.k.a. formerly known as Chaz Anthony. I'm really sorry. Guys, I'm
He's
sorry.
also playing it cool with Claire because he says his friend.
And
I thought he said Claire, though.
Now he says to his friends, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But despite this ridiculous, I don't know if show of affection, just ridiculous situation.
He waits until school finishes, so who knows? I mean, he's already used to waiting, 8 hours to play hockey.
Apparently,
so
he doesn't need to teach his college class at all.
He might have waited 8 more
No,
hours.
but it's finals week. All he has to do is sit down while
It's
they
the
take
big
the test.
game. We can't go to class. But yeah, he waits until the end of school. Claire comes out with Odie and Dion or whatever.
Only you
Dion.
know that he
Dion is
pays
black.
the water bill every time he goes there.
He's got a very small bladder. And Claire just is like, no, it didn't work on me. Go away.
And
she just
Odie's
walks
like,
by.
your speech, your thing was funny, haha.
Chaz Anthony. So back at the lab, Charlie's moping around reading comics. he says something about, "Oh, I'm getting invested in fictional characters because they won't betray me."
And Lucas had never felt more.
I'm like, I can relate to that.
Oh yeah, the professor's like, "Oh, is it this?" And he's like, "No, that's the February issue."
Yeah, it was very fake.
I'm Lucas Malloy.
It was very fake, nerdy talk of just like, is that the issue where Glorp goes to Gavon 5 and fights Luplio?
No, this is where Glorp goes to camp.
So yeah,
That was a much older issue.
Oh, gee.
it was a very dumb thing, but through whatever conversation they were having about the comics, they have some breakthrough that allows them to create these super balls that allow them to defy gravity.
No, they're like, oh, these microchips will allow us to defy gravity. Oh, they look like super balls.
Yeah,
because they
very
were.
good cover.
Oh, yeah. Our production design can only cover super balls.
And at this point, Dr. K had kind of a fun, or I thought a nice touch where he's like, "Hey, like I know your other friends abandoned you, but like I consider us friends."
Yes.
And then Charlie's
real
just like,
pervy.
"No."
I consider it.
Oh, jeez, we're real friends.
But Charlie's
He
like,
put his head on his lap.
he's like, "Yeah, cool, okay," but he's just like, "This technology is gonna let me get people to like me again, so I know that you're a friend who's always stuck by me, but like, see ya, Dr. K." And I thought it was like a really dick move by him.
Yes.
So he sees this as an opportunity. So he goes and finds the kids at the ice rink again. And he tells Claire that he knows a way to get the team to win at the makeup game.
They ignore him until he goes, "My name's Charlie Boyle, not Chaz Anthony."
Well, no, he gives his whole spiel, and then she's like,
about,
"It's just a thing. You're just trying to do this to make yourself look good," which is exactly why he is doing it.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely why he's doing it. But it's like,
So Claire is on the money.
Charlie.
So yeah, they turn away, and then I guess some great dramatic moment was him going,
You could tell by the guitar squeal that happened.
"I don't think these guitar squeals happen."
Guitar squeals were happening abound in this
My name
movie.
is Charlie Boyle, and I need your help.
Yeah, I'm not Chaz. My name is Charlie. And they're all
Everybody
like,
turns
"Wow,
around.
great convincing argument. We're all
Oh,
on
you
your side."
know that Odie was the first
Odie-
one over there because
Odie
he's
and
got to
Dion
pay
were.
that water bill.
Odie and Dion were.
And this is
And then
quite the
Claire.
tangent, but I wanted to apologize to Sam because I looked this up in the Smart House episode.
Uh-oh.
You said that his shirt, when he was shooting hoops at the beginning of the movie, was ripped on the sleeves. And I said it wasn't, but it was. The
Wow.
sleeves were ripped.
Exactly.
So Sam was correct. I just want to
I
put that
am
out
the
here.
greatest.
Whose sleeves?
I don't know, the main characters.
Charlie?
No,
No,
the
the main-
Smart House.
Oh.
Smart house.
Okay,
Yeah, he
yeah.
has a basketball on his
I'll
shirt.
apologize to Sam. I will never apologize to Jacob. He does not deserve it. So they set up some kind of plan that's very elaborate that involves Charlie sneaking into the bus of
God.
the opposing team to get the Super
Yes.
Balls put into
People were
their
asking for
skates.
autographs.
If you're wondering this, yes, random people are asking a college hockey player for
The
autographs.
opposing team.
The opposing college hockey.
They're
Yeah, I don't know if this is the part of the plan, but
It could've
he
been-
also lifts up where the luggage goes in the coach bus. And are the hockey skates in the bags? No, they're all just sitting out there, splayed for everyone, which makes absolutely no GD sense.
And also,
And he knows exactly which hockey skates belong to which
Yeah.
player, which also doesn't make any sense.
I mean,
because
I'll-
college, they have sponsorships, so you
I'll
go
look
with that
at.
skate.
I'll allow the oversight of their skates not being in their bags because I guess that's what hockey players do. According
It's
to
not.
Sam. Well, I mean that they keep them in their bags. But yeah, how he would know whose skates were what? Quite a leap in logic, as most DComs have. So the other half of this plan is they have their own rollerblades down in the lab that then are being attached with these little red discs.
Because these
Yes.
discs are attached to particles that will react with each other no matter how far the distance.
Basically, it allows them to cause the skates on the ice rink to mirror their exact movements down below, as we'll see shortly. Dr. K comes in to see what they're doing and is like, "I don't approve of this." But Charlie's like, "But my friends, Dr. K, I'm trying to have friends by doing this kind
All
of bad
he's trying
thing."
to do is get that sweet, sweet poontang
I
from
mean,
the coach's daughter.
It's not wrong. I mean, Sam might be a little blunt, but he's not wrong in this instance.
You know that 13-year-olds, they're all after that poontang.
There's
I mean, he's getting the college vibe, you know, his mind's all warped.
He's probably heard that guy having sex like 1,000 times.
I mean, he's 13 years old, so
He's horny.
But he's like
He
he's
is
like 30 years old. Well, yes, he is horny, but he's also, you know, he's so smart. So isn't he like legally an adult? No, he is not.
But he's also horny.
That's the main message of the movie.
Is she horny? We have yet to find out.
Chaz Anthony's middle name is Horny.
It's the old CHA.
Yeah, that's horny.
Chaz
horny.
So in the game, they make the
life.
players first. They just make them like get penalties. They like run into a ref. But this is where it gets a little ridiculous because they make them dance.
Oh, this pissed me off.
But the players,
perceivable degree,
because I'll let Sam take
the computer chips is on their feet. So yes, they would skate into each other, but they wouldn't let them lock hands and start doing the GD tango like they did.
Yeah. So at first they're just kind of doing ice skating type moves where they're putting like hands above their heads. But then Chaz or Charlie, still being super cool, is like, "Hey Claire, let's dance." So they lock hands and they're doing a little skating dance thing. But all they
needed to do was make them stand still. Is just all they needed to do.
But yeah, the two affected players
dance. Whoa, look at me! I want to have sex with you, Claire.
I mean, it was funny, but it also could have been funny if it was like they were dancing, but we just saw them like their bodies keep slamming into each other, kind of awkwardly.
It would have been much better.
You know, so maybe a missed comedic opportunity. But then Dr. K, I don't know, gets suited up somehow and is trying to help.
No, he skates in from the door.
Okay, so there's like no setup?
I'm wearing a helmet too for some reason. Okay. Look at me, I don't know how to stop.
But then he crashes into the collider, which fortunately does not cause cracks in the ice rink again. However, does make the affected players begin to float, but
which
also
does not result in a stoppage of play, which it clearly would.
Yeah, people are mostly pretty
people
cool
are
about
like,
this.
Oh, that's crazy scams.
I also just realized where I recognize this kid from.
Nobody cares.
Jurassic Park.
Which one? The original?
The third one.
Oh. Nobody definitely
he plays
cares.
the Jungle Boy.
He's also in The Sixth Sense.
No, I mean, he's not Haley Joel Osment.
He's not Haley Joel Osment, but he does play some kid in The Sixth Sense.
Wow. Really amazing trivia you brought to us. Yes, he's in the worst Jurassic Park movie. Well, maybe not the worst.
The most recent one was the worst one.
Or Lost World. I'm not
Lost World was fine. The newest one was
also in that movie
hey,
with
we're
Josh
gonna
Peck.
kill all the dinosaurs.
He's also
and
in Mean Creek with Josh Peck.
Who?
Okay, we need to end this right here. Nobody likes us reading off entries.
No,
on IMDb.
I want to get off on this Jurassic World type thing.
We can carry the conversation after we're finished. But speaking of things being finished, the game ends with the team winning because half of the other team is floating up in the air,
which again does not result in a stoppage of play,
no.
Which doesn't make any sense.
But also, who people are floating are Claire and Charlie, who then go in for a zero-G kiss.
Now, does that mean that the other players smash heads together?
We don't see that.
Yes. We can only assume.
Well, at this point, they're all floating, so I don't think they have the same kind of control over their movements. So.
I mean,
kind of a nice moment. Not even Xenon had a zero-G kiss. You gotta leave it to Genius to have
was
that.
there a guitar squeal? You better believe there was a guitar squeal. There definitely was a guitar squeal.
I'm feeling I need to go back and check all these timestamps for guitar squeals.
There were no guitar squeals.
There was guitar squeals abound in this movie.
The wrap-up scene, kind of a nice wrap-up. If this was a different DCOM, the movie would have ended with them like kissing, and then there would have been like a freeze frame of like the winning college team.
There would have been a freeze frame and a bow wow. We go out.
It would be weird to freeze frame on them kissing. I wouldn't put it past a Disney Channel movie though. But it ends, and they're at the local ice rink again. He's with his middle school friends, and he's trying to pick players, and oh man, you stuck me with him, and it's Dr. K.
Oh my god.
So maybe what Sam was saying about
professor
him being a little creepy might be fair, but he's there to play hockey with them.
With a bunch of children.
But speaking of non-children playing hockey, who do we see? The Northern Lights college hockey team stops by. And they're like, hey.
It's like, oh, you grown adults can take on us, but you gotta take the professor. And everyone's like,
oh, Chaz Anthony.
It was like, bow wow wow, wiki 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 wiki.
Yeah, so there's not much to it. Oh, they thank Charlie, and then they play, and then that's the end of the movie. And that was genius.
Yeah.
So, Telejon, Jacob, take us away with your thoughts of Genius first. I think I know what you'll say. this was a movie I kind of remembered as a kid, so that means I love it.
Which is true. I mean, going into this film, I did not remember it at all, but I remembered it, and I called some of the parts before they happened. I would have to put this in my top 3 DCOMs that we have watched so far. It was. I don't think it was meant to be cringy at the time, but that's kind of, what it is now.
It always begs the question where this one is like, are you supposed to hate Charlie? I think you're actually supposed to hate Charlie, but like Chaz. Because Charlie, at the very beginning, I thought he was going to be like, oh, he's one of those smart kids, but I thought he was going to be like a smart kid you were supposed to like, and it's like, no.
Smart guy.
He's very well established as being a nerdy kid who talks too much and is kind of annoying.
This is how the theme song goes. It's smart guy.
I'm surprised you know all those words.
I don't.
So yes, I liked it. It was definitely a step up from Johnny Tsunami.
Weirdly enough, Johnny Tsunami was a disappointment.
Tsunami was a great movie.
Well, you should have come for that episode.
I didn't know Johnny Tsunami was that. The line, we're going to have a big party and everyone's invited, just made up for that whole entire movie.
That was the best part of the film.
All right, Sam, your thoughts on Genius?
I thought this movie fucking sucked. I remembered the dancing scene, and I remember being furious at the age of 9. And the hockey scenes were not realistic. They had a fat guy. That fat guy can't skate fast, and he wasn't even playing goalie.
No.
I was fat. My move was, hey, I'm going to run into this person and take them out. And that's what I did, because I knew my role. Unlike Freddie Manderfeld, who just passed to the other team so they could score goals.
Freddie Manderfeld, who just passed away.
We just lost Freddie Manderfeld.
It has recently passed. This is another situation I'm trying to think, maybe the 13th year. Well, this is better than the 13th year. I think this is both a combination of a decent movie with fun interplaying parts, different groups crossing paths, but also it just comes down to 2 words, and those are Chaz Anthony. It was never not funny hearing that throughout the movie. I learned looking at the Wikipedia entry that his fake name was Chaz Anthony. That's all I had to read. I'm like, this movie's gonna be fucking great. And I'm like, Sam, you do need to be here for this one. And yeah, I think I'll echo Jacob and say I think this is probably one of the upper ones along with, for me, Can of Worms, Xenon, and I feel like Genius was definitely a dark horse. I knew Johnny Tsunami's name, and now I wish I didn't. But the name I will always remember is
you have
Chaz
to realize.
Horny Anthony.
You have to realize that the snow is like waves.
I didn't even know it was a snowboarding movie until we started watching
His grandpa's like, yes, it's like frozen waves. I am a Hawaiian.
Mahalo.
Or
Mahalo.
Pono, or whatever the hell he calls him.
Pono.
All right, so that's Genius. Another one in the books. Another one for the record books this time, I think. Quite enjoyable. We don't have any emails this time as well, but if you want to email us, you can do so at awholenewpod@gmail.com. Hopefully, you can tell us how you feel about Chaz Anthony. But kind of a bit of a behind-the-scenes thing that is maybe a few months down the road, but is exciting, is Disney just recently announced its plans for its streaming service called Disney Plus, which is a very uncreative name. But it is exciting, and we do not want to come off as corporate shills. We're not being sponsored by Disney Plus.
Not yet.
They definitely should sponsor us, though. And Disney is definitely not a company that needs anybody evangelizing it for others. But part of its announcement is Disney Plus is saying that it will have over 100 DCOMs at launch, which is, by my count, is most of the DCOMs. So if you're trying to find a way to watch along with the podcast or watch ahead or just watch some DCOMs, I think it's launching in November, Disney Plus, for a reasonable rate of $7. I don't know why I'm doing this selling, but for us behind the scenes, this is really nice because probably about the cost to rent on Amazon of 2 DCOMs is $7. So you get the other random shit they're putting on there, like a live-action Lady and the Tramp that nobody except weird sex perverts want.
I will watch it.
So, yeah, looking down the road...
Whoa. So is this the actual dogs eating spaghetti?
It's going to be the same as, the Jungle Book and the Lion King.
They're not CGI, though, I don't think.
I'm sure they are.
No. Is it like a Beethoven-type dog and a...
Well, they didn't just change what the dogs were. I mean, the dogs in the original movie are based on real breeds.
All right, fine.
Cocker Spaniel and
Tramp.
Tramp.
So, yeah, I mean, that's definitely down the road, but at the rate we're going, that might be 5 podcasts from now.
All right, before we end here, tell John.
Yes.
Let's debate the point where the kid absolutely masturbated us to go with our theme that we've had. I'm pretty sure when he saw that poster of the girl next to the bench press
is when he closed the door.
Pretty sure
to progress.
See, the joke on you is this is a theme that doesn't exist because I cut the last part in the last episode.
You said you cut most of it out.
I don't think there was any talk of masturbation that stayed in the episode.
I also have I have a final question.
Well, I wasn't fucking done.
Well, no,
I still have other stuff I want to be going with.
I mean, we still have to go with already masturbated, which is clearly when the kid...
Well, when you talk about masturbating, what can I follow up with? You might as well just end everything.
When I was at NDSU, they didn't have an actual hockey team. It was a club league. But still, those hockey players... fucking slayed. So clearly, that guy was having sex right in front of that 13-year-old.
I don't know why when you started that story, it was going to be talking about your masturbation practices.
I'm talking about a 13-year-old.
You would watch
So clearly that 13-year-old watched him fucking just go through
Go to town.
He just had to make it weird.
He just had to go. And
Sam had multiple hockey roommates.
No, I didn't. I went to Hockey House, which was a house owned by the hockey players.
And you saw it.
Did you want to say something, Jake?
What I wanted to say is, Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you?
Oh my god.
He's in New Orleans.
Alright, this is not going to be a solo podcast. I already do most of the talking, and now nobody will want to listen.
I will definitely be back for the next one, which is the best Disney movie ever.
Alright, but before we close off on what the next one...
Don't look under the bed. That's clearly...
I have lost complete control of this show. I wanted to apologize about...
This is the Jacob and Sam podcast.
How it's been about a month since the last episode we did. We probably could have squeezed one in between Johnny Tsunami, and now. But me and Jacob went to a local Minnesota anime convention called Anime Detour. So that was one weekend we lost. And as something that happens sometimes when you go to conventions, you get sick. And I got sick, and that cut out another weekend where we could have recorded. So that's how... And there was also WrestleMania, because we're all fans of that, and, that's a holiday for us. But that's how we got to here, so it's been a bit of a long time coming. Hopefully this one is worth it, though. I think it's a good follow-up to Johnny Tsunami, because that was, in my opinion, just content-wise and also production-wise and just professionally, felt like it was a low point for us, but I think we're on an uptick. As Sam said, Don't Look Under the Bed coming up.
Yes.
So now we will actually...
The spookiest of all the Disney Channel movies.
More than Phantom of the Megaplex?
Phantom of the Megaplex is hilarious.
Don't Look Under the Bed is
it's
really...
Spooky.
It
it's
is
spooky
scary.
as all get out.
I'm looking forward
it's
to
pretty
it.
creepy.
Again, email us at awholenewpod@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at awholenewpod all one word. I don't know why you would follow us. Jacob literally never updates
I tweeted 3 minutes ago.
What was it?
A picture
Just
of
finished watching
recording.
and recording the pod for Genius. It'll be up
This
hopefully
is terrible
next
content.
week.
I hate you. And wherever you listen to us, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify. We are on Sam's podcast, whatever the hell.
Addict.
Yes. Rate us on your things. Write us a review, what have you. And I think that's all I have. Don't Look Under the Bed is next. And once again, I will throw it to Samwise to take us out.
What am I supposed to do?
Just leave us with some words
Final
of wisdom.
song.
If you have the chance, go see Billy Currington. Man, that guy's
All
an
right,
entertainer.
End it.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our show. Good champion in Jeff. And Jeff. Happy to welcome you to our program as well. Here are the categories. First off, Jeff. And Jeff.
Let's try Jeff for 200.
Jeff.
What is Jeff?
Yes.
Jeff for 400.
Jeff.
What is Jeff?
That's right.
Jeff for 600.
Jeff.
What is San Francisco?
No, Jeff.
What is Jeff?
Right again.
Jeff for 1,000.
Jeff. And that would be Jeff.